Hey YouTube, it's a sweaty Matt Munson here outdoors in Tokyo, Japan. I'm actually in Akihabara right now, shooting a video where I'm testing out the capabilities of my DJI Pocket 2. Won't you come along to see what I can do? We're actually going to roll back the clock for this video. Let's get back to my apartment and start from there. Hey, it's Editor Matt from the future here. Wanted to give a little more context to this video before I start rolling footage of my trip today to Akihabara and walking around. What I really wanted to do was put my camera through its paces, see what it could do in low lighting, see what kind of quality I could get out of it while I'm walking, doing the walk and talk, so that then I can put together my final thoughts on it, or perhaps more importantly, learn what I need to change for future use. Spoilers, I learned a lot. A lot of mistakes were made in this video, a lot of rookie moves were made, but I think they will ultimately add to the quality of the output. I'm going to save the actual review for a separate video, so in this video we're just going to take a look at the footage I shot and the musings and thoughts and lessons I learned along the way. A lot of great footage of Tokyo in general, a lot of cool little adventuring, and if you're a fan of the genre of the long shot while walking, this video is for you. So stay tuned for the actual review video, subscribe to the channel if you want to be alerted for when that comes out. It should come out pretty soon. Not that anyone's really hungering for a DJI Pocket 2 review, but hey, one does what one can. All right, let's get on to the footage. I hope you enjoy it. Huh, interesting. Looks like face track is a little punchy. That's a bummer. Today I'm doing some tests with the DJI Pocket 2. I'm an entire generation behind. Even the Pocket 3 has been out for like more than a half a year now. But I still like the Pocket 2. When I was here last time, about a year ago, I filmed a ton of footage using this, but I never got time to play with it, so hopefully with this video, I'll actually get around to editing it together and putting it up online. I'm also testing out their wireless mic that came with the Pocket 2 Creator Pack, and this is my first test with that mic. I had good luck last time using the onboard mics, but from everything I've seen, the wireless lav mic is better. And I don't have the dead cat on it because it's not windy. But who knows? Maybe I need it. I suppose that's what testing is all about. It looks like face tracking isn't as great on the Pocket 2 as it is on the Pocket 3 based on reviews I've seen. And in the 10 seconds I've been experimenting with it in this video and the previous one, that checks out. I'm still willing to give it a try. If I get some good shots out of it. Oh, see, it just lost me. I can see I slipped off the screen there for a second. But you know, when I move the camera around, I don't know, let's see how it plays out. At an absolute minimum, I can see the head swiveling around a lot, so I know it's searching for me. I guess I'll have to see when I get this into Premiere Pro. I'm not a tech reviewer, nor am I a super camera aficionado, so I guess the purpose of this video is really just to see how the DJI Pocket 2 meets my needs. And so what I'm going to be doing today is walking around Akihabara at night mostly, so I'm real curious about its low light settings. and how they work, what kind of results I get, and also doing stuff just like this, walking around, talking, collecting my thoughts, and hopefully making something interesting out of it. This is kind of what I call Main Street in my neighborhood. It's filled with little shops and stores and restaurants and bars. Everything a local would need and a tourist would want. Every time I pass by this barber shop, I love it. This is where I know to take a right turn to get to my neighborhood, but it's such a cool little place, so much character. And of course, there are endless vending machines everywhere. This is the grocery store that I've become a regular at. For reference, it's about 5:50 right now and 86 degrees Fahrenheit. And it's actually cooled down a lot. I don't know if I'm getting used to the warm air and the humidity, but it actually feels quite comfortable right now. I'm sure after walking for 20 minutes when I start sweating, I will feel differently about that. Every time I see that place, I want to stop in. So this laundromat right here is my signpost to let me know that I need to turn right up here. Oh, busy street. This is the route I take when I want to go to my gym or when I want to get to Shibuya, if I'm walking there. There's also a metro stop right by my gym that I sometimes hit. Words to live by. It's the little archway over the entrance to my little neighborhood. It's interesting, right as we exit that little neighborhood, we step right out into high-rise architecture. My gym is just up ahead on the right. It's only about a 10-minute walk from my place to the gym. I guess 12 usually is what it takes. But this is the route I take. Right past 7-Eleven. There's a Lawson's up ahead too. When I first saw this vending machine, I was really hoping it was a vending machine to order suits from, but sadly no. And this is where my gym is, just for reference. Right up there at the end of the street, that's where that Fudodori arch was. So it's pretty close. McDonald's filmed without comment. I'm really curious how the microphone works. I know I've been talking kind of a low voice because I don't want to be that guy on the streets of Tokyo talking in loud American voice. So I'm trying to keep it down a little bit, but there's a lot of ambient noise around, so I'm very curious to hear how it turns out. If you're watching this, you're learning right along with me. Here's my local Family Mart. I've actually never been to this one, but it's right next to my metro station, which is right up there. Everything's very convenient. Heading into the station now. The stairs have arrows showing you which way you're supposed to go, just to keep things organized and moving smoothly. I imagine it's super helpful. I'll take the camera with me through the card reader. It's super busy right now. I think a train must have just dropped a bunch of people off. Alright, I have arrived at my platform. I've definitely noticed the camera heats up reasonably. Like it feels quite warm in my hand right now. I've only been using it about 20 minutes, so I don't know if that's a problem or if it's just the way it is. I think my train's coming. Not very busy at all. Totally rookie move. I got on an express train instead of a local train, and it skipped the stop I wanted for Akihabara. So I guess I'm gonna have a little walk ahead of me. I have no idea how far I need to go. I will find that out once I get out of here and can pull up Google Maps. Let's see if we can do this all in one shot. One of the things that's interesting is a lot of these subway stations are starting to look the same. I feel like I've been to this one before, but maybe I haven't. I just don't know. Well, the good news is that whole ride burned up some sunlight, so now it's getting darker. Now what I'm seeing on the screen shows a very blue-looking sky ahead, and that's not what I'm seeing in real life. It looks like a dark purple-ish. Curious how well this matches up to real life. I need to take a second to get my bearings. This actually looks a lot like the area where I was last year when I was here, so it has a very familiar feeling to it. So let me pull out my phone, see where I am. Okay, I didn't miss it by far at all. So the blue dot is me, and that's where I need to get. That shouldn't take too long. Let's get it done. This is the direction opposite of sunset. Yeah, the sky looks really blue in the monitor, and it looks like a dark eggplant color to my eyes. Interesting. Let me see if there's a setting for night shooting. I switch the exposure over to auto. Still looks really blue on the screen. I guess we'll wait and see how it turns out when I got it on my laptop. Google Maps tells me I'm about 23 minutes away. Google Maps tells me I'm exactly 23 minutes away from my destination in Akihabara. So I'm just going to follow the prompts that the app gives me, and hopefully it'll take me right there. I think actually what's most interesting so far about using the DJI Pocket 2 is it's just one more thing to juggle. Like I got a lot going on. I got my phone, I got my Passmo card, I got my DJI Pocket 2, and I'm actually terrified that in my efforts to set up a shot or make sure I've got my camera recording, that I will leave my phone behind or leave something else behind, like my charger or my pocket Wi-Fi. Oh yeah, that's other things I got going on. When I'm using my iPhone to shoot, it just feels like there's one less thing to have to manage, and I'm noticing it with this camera. I'm hoping that the results make it worth it, but I guess we shall see. For those of you who've seen some of my other videos on my channel from this trip to Tokyo, I am currently staying in a suburb just west of Shinjuku and Shibuya, and it's mostly like 2-3-story houses, little apartment buildings, narrow streets, hills, and so right now you can see it's very different. And this is what life was like for me last year during my visit. All these sort of mid-height high-rises that, in my experience, are mixed use. Some are business, some are residential, some are both. One of the shots I really like to get with a gimbal is something like this, like when I'm walking across a street and I shoot down an alley or a street. I like the motion. I like the way the perspective changes. And obviously, I also love walking down the middle of the street. Let's do a little 180 pan, see how that turns out. One of my aspirations for this camera is to be able to shoot cinematic style footage. And to me, that means a lot of things, but primarily settings-wise, it means shooting 4K, 24 frames per second at a 150 or 148 shutter speed. The bummer is the camera has no aperture. Did I get that right? And I want to keep the ISO as low as I can. So what I'm doing for this footage, if I remember my settings correctly, is I've got it set to 24 frames per second at 4K, but I don't have the shutter speed where I need it to be. I feel like I would need an ND filter, maybe not right now because it's dark, but because I don't have as much control and I want to shoot good footage tonight, I'm just leaving some of it on auto. So we'll see what kind of footage we get, and maybe I'll make some decisions from there. Okay, this street I actually do recognize. I have walked across this intersection a couple times before. This is usually the route I would take from my apartment, which is sort of down that way, over to the river, which is down that way. That feels weird. It feels kind of good and weird, like knowing your way around a foreign city, especially one that's as big as Tokyo. Let's get some shots of the traffic and see how the camera does with it. I like that train going over the bridge up ahead. I think one of the real advantages of the DJI Palm 2 with the Creator Pack is you get the extension that not only adds battery, but also is what the wireless mic syncs up to. And I think the reason I like it so much is because it changes the form factor. The camera is really small, like it's très petite, and I think almost to its detriment. Like you have to sort of hold it like like this if you don't have the battery pack on, or else you run the risk of covering the screen, covering up the onboard microphones. So I think changing the form factor a little bit really helps. I think maybe I'm noticing it a little more profoundly because I've been shooting so much with my DJI Osmo Mobile 6 lately with the tripod attached to it. So that gives me like a really good sized handle, not only to hold on to it, but it extends it by about 6 inches. So still getting used to the form factor of this camera. Don't get me wrong, I really like it. It's just something you got to pay attention to. I once again find myself in familiar territory. I've crossed this intersection a number of times, on my way to Akihabara on my previous visit. In fact, right behind me, that street that kind of curves away to the left, it's just off that street that I lived last year. Another thing I've noticed that I really like about this camera is the always on option. I'm sure it burns battery faster, but with my iPhone, especially when it's on a gimbal, there's work to do before you want to catch a shot. You either have to turn on your phone, you can press the little camera button to go straight into video, but you know, if you're holding the gimbal with one hand, that means you got to operate with the other hand. And with this little guy, assuming you leave it on, all you have to do is press the button to start filming. Very convenient. I like that. Here we are at Akihabara Station. I got caught midway crossing the street. I'm under the overpass right now. This would be a good test for sound. Another rookie move, getting caught at the light, but it gave me a great opportunity to get a good shot of the station. See, that's what I'm talking about, making lemonade out of, what? Big Echo is a karaoke chain that I really want to check out. Hopefully I'll run into some friends out here who will put up with my bad singing at one of those. It looks super fun. I saw a video on them and it looks like a great experience. I'll probably head back into the station eventually tonight. Well, I definitely will to get home, but there's some stuff I need to get there too. Damn is right. I would say this actually all turned out perfectly. Not only did I just hit my step goal for today, 10,000, with hopefully a bonus 10, but it is now totally dark. So I get to experience what my camera captures when it's dark. Now, to be fair, I'm in a very well-lit area, but I guess that's also part of the challenge. I'm not going to make the same mistake twice. See that big camera over there? That's basically where I'm headed to. Another thing I am super curious about with this camera is the strobing of LEDs, neon signs, and LED big signs, whatever you call them. Billboards is what they're called. My iPhone, I tend to get a lot of strobing on them. In fact, in some of the bigger billboards, like that one, the 3D cat over in Shinjuku, it kind of distorted it. It was really weird. I guess the frame rate versus the refresh rate of the billboard is different. So you get sort of a weird jittery effect. And I'm curious if this camera has that same limitation. I think that would be a big deal for me. I think I've missed some good shots because something's blinking or strobing. I don't like the way it looks. So if this camera can do it without strobing, that'll be a big deal. Perfect test opportunity. Large LED billboard. Let's see how it does. It looks fine on the screen. I kind of want to get up on that walkway. Let's do that. We are right outside the station. There's a bunch of maids hanging out, trying to lure you into their cafe. And it ain't Viva de France dining. Very cinematic. I think in general I'm a fan of elevated views. If you've seen any of my other videos, you would know that. Oh, it looks so magical. It almost looks fake. It's like I'm living in anime. Living the otaku dream right here in Tokyo. This actually, I think this might be a bridge where Yaya Han did a photo shoot for her cyberpunk outfit. Maybe? I don't know. Let's do some more strobing tests. I'm not seeing any strobing on my screen. This is not the main drag, but it's still a lively looking street. You know, the architecture of Tokyo just never gets old. It's always something amazing and beautiful and unique. Just love this place. So much great stuff to see. Okay, so see that game Taito Station? We want to get on the other side of that. Pretty much everything on this menu looks amazing. I'll take one of each, please. I'm definitely not in a rush to upgrade to the DJI Pocket 3, but I can tell you the larger screen is definitely appealing. From what I can tell, the screen's about twice the size as the one on the 2, and I'm not gonna lie, my eyesight is not what it used to be. So the screen for me really only serves as sort of loose framing. I don't really see much on the screen other than shapes and colors. Like, I can identify when my head is centered on the screen, but like if I'm looking for any kind of fidelity out of that little tiny screen, it's not going to work for me. So maybe the 3 is just what I need. It's our first gotcha gotcha machine sighting for the night. I suspect there will be many more. We are now on the main drag of Akihabara. One of the great things about all these stores is the air conditioning is always blasting hardcore. So if it's ever hot outside, just step into one of these to cool off for a little bit. It is actually pretty warm outside. So sad. Just gonna do a little walk around so you can get a sense of this place. Oh, sorry. Okay, one very interesting observation. It is chewing through the battery. I wonder if the battery extension was fully charged when I headed out tonight. I've only been filming for about 2 hours now, and I've had it on almost the entire time except for my subway ride. And that's a lot shorter than the lifespan I will get out of my iPhone when I'm shooting with that. So maybe this is reserved for destinations. Don't know. I think what I'll need to do is fully charge it and then do a test to see how long it lasts on a full fresh charge. I'm on a little side street right now, just as visually noisy and loud as the main street. I can't speak to how busy this area is usually, but for a Thursday night at 7 p.m., I would say it's pretty darn busy. I am super uncertain what happens in this establishment. Maids with guns. That looks delicious. Now I'm hungry. Damn it. At this point, I kind of regret leaving my dead cat at home as some wind is kicked up, but again, that'll be a good test of the equipment to see how it holds up. I am running low on battery, so I think what I'll do is wrap this one up here and try to film some more just in case, but let's consider this the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, we'll see you for the next one.